So now I am calling Dr. Shraddha Prabhu ma'am for Seva Geet singing. Dr. Shraddha ma'am is UG from Sancheti College of Physiotherapy and studying first year PG in CMF College of Physiotherapy, Pune. So Shraddha ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो मातृभूमि के लिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो पुण्य भूमि के लिए, देश के लिए जिए। गर्व से सभी कहे बंधु है हम एक है, गर्व से सभी कहे बंधु है हम एक है, जाति पंथ भिन्नता स्नेह सूत्र एक है, जाति पंथ भिन्नता स्नेह सूत्र एक है, शुभ्र रंग की छटा सप्त रंग है लिए, शुभ्र रंग की छटा सप्त रंग है लिए, देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो मातृभूमि के लिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो पुण्य भूमि के लिए, देश के लिए जिए। व्यक्ति व्यक्ति में जगे समाज भक्ति भावना, व्यक्ति व्यक्ति में जगे समाज भक्ति भावना, व्यक्ति को समाज से जोड़ने की साधना, व्यक्ति को समाज से जोड़ने की साधना, दाव पर सभी लगे जन्मभूमि के लिए, दाव पर सभी लगे जन्मभूमि के लिए, देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो मातृभूमि के लिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो कर्म भूमि के लिए, देश के लिए जिए। एक दिव्य ज्योति से अनेक दीप जल रहे, एक दिव्य ज्योति से अनेक दीप जल रहे, कौन लोग बुझा सके आंधियों में जो चले, कौन लोग बुझा सके आंधियों में जो चले, तेज पुंज हम बने तमस चीरते हुए, तेज पुंज हम बने तमस चीरते हुए, देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो मातृभूमि के लिए, ये धड़कने ये श्वास हो कर्म भूमि के लिए, देश के लिए जिए। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सो मच मैम, आपने बहुत ही सुंदर प्रस्तुति की और आपके आवाज से पूरा एटमॉस्फेयर ही बदल गया। थैंक यू सो मच। सो अभी जो मेन सेशन है सुयश सर का, जिसके लिए हम लोग इतना टाइम वेट कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए मैं अभी सुयश सर जो हमारे गेस्ट स्पीकर है उनको आई वुड लाइक टू रिक्वेस्ट हिम। थैंक यू। प्लीज सर, ओवर टू यू।
Am I audible?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
देश के लिए जिए, समाज के लिए जिए, ये धडकणे ये श्वास हो मातृभूमी के लिए. इतकं सुंदर गायलंय आणि इतकं सुंदर लिहिलंय. First of all, I'd like to pay my tributes to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, who have lived their entire lives with these lines in their hearts, in their mind. This is what they believed in, right? And this is what they have taught us. And they have been my eternal inspiration. Every time I felt low, that is where I found my energy. That is where I found my inspiration. I would like to thank the Sevankur team for this opportunity to connect with you all. We had actually planned it as a small session for a few medical students in Government Medical College, Aurangabad. That was how it began. But then we started connecting with other people, and now it has become a large session. It was supposed to be in Marathi, although yes, I would feel more comfortable to speak in Marathi. I don't get to speak much Marathi here, so every opportunity to speak my mother tongue is comes as it's always welcome. But because there might be people who would not be able to understand Marathi, or some people from South India who might not be able to understand Hindi, so let's continue it in English. I hope you guys don't mind. If you don't understand, feel free to contact me and I'll explain it to you once again. I would also like to thank and appreciate the efforts of all our Corona warriors. Dr. Sagar had just now mentioned what they have done and the kind of efforts they have put in. It's a very difficult time, and we all should appreciate these efforts, no matter how small, how big, but every single effort matters, be it direct, be it indirect. Even being at home and not putting yourself and the society at risk is a contribution right now. So I thank all of you for being a part of this whole effort, because these are unprecedented times. Nobody had expected it. We can't blame the government, we can't blame the authorities, because nobody had expected this. And we as a doctor community, we understand how difficult it is, and we are at the forefront. We are the soldiers right now. So thank you guys, thank you once again. Now coming back to the main topic, medical field and UPSC. I'll tell you my journey in short. I don't want to waste too much time on that. In short, I'll tell you, my introduction had been given beautifully. Now that you listen about yourself, the journey, you suddenly start feeling that, oh my God, it has been such a long journey. I myself feel that it's been a long journey till here. But yes, I've just started what I wish to do, and the journey so far has been such that if you ask me, had I ever planned this? So I would say no, it was not in my mind. It was not a childhood dream. You'd be surprised to know I had started off with uh, with no such intentions, not of becoming a doctor or an officer. I wanted to be an engineer, and the reason is, I've seen my parents are doctors, very hardworking. They have, they come from a rural background, and they have struggled very hard to reach where they are right now. And they have always lived with this thing in their mind, that they have to contribute to the society. And I've seen that in my family since the beginning. But it needs sacrifices, and I've seen them work hard day in, day out, nights, sleepless nights and all. And then I also saw some of my relatives and some other people who were doing engineering or other jobs, and I used to see that their jobs are a bit easier. I wouldn't say they are there are difficulties, but yes, I think very few jobs are as difficult as the job of a doctor. So then I thought, okay, let's become an engineer. I was interested in science, and yes, I had an interest in traveling the world, going abroad. So I was fascinated by that back then as a child. So I had engineering in my mind, but then it so happened that I was convinced, okay, since my parents, I was convinced, rather I would say people convinced me. And back then I thought, maybe yes, that's the right thing for me. So I thought, if my parents have come from a humble background and they have established something right now, maybe I should also become a doctor and take that legacy forward. So then I became a doctor. And in my medical school, I was in a completely blissful state, enjoying all my college days and classes. I started enjoying medical field. So UPSC was not something that I had targeted or planned back then. Like every other medical student, I planned to take the PG entrance exams. I took it twice. I'll tell you the reasons. And then I got through each time, luckily or unluckily. And then later on, I realized that there is this opportunity which I was not told about, or rather, my eyes were not open to these opportunities previously. And then I got to know about UPSC when I was, in Mumbai, in Delhi. And I thought, yes, maybe it's late, but it's not too late to prepare for it. And so I started preparing for this exam. And by God's grace, yes, I could clear it in my first attempt. That being said, I think what lacks in our region is guidance. Our medical students are extremely talented. They are amongst the top cream of the society, amongst the students also. But what is lacking is the right guidance. Most of us, unfortunately, choose a career based upon what others tell us. We don't have the right information, to make an informed choice. So when we choose a particular stream, say for example, science, arts, commerce, or engineering, or medical, or anything for that matter, so we don't have the exact information, and sometimes there are certain myths around some professions. For example, they say that UPSC is very difficult and it's not so easy to crack, and it's not for people who come from a very humble background, or those who don't have good English, or those who are not studying from good colleges. So there are a lot of myths. So it just dissuades us from taking these options, taking these career options. And by the time we by the time we get all this information, it's already pretty late. And that's why the irony is, the people that should enter administration, I think, are the people who come from different backgrounds, different religions, castes, regions, because that's how these regions would develop. For any other officer who you see in your regions, if your region is a remote region of the country, if you see an officer from outside, say from Delhi, coming to that particular region, he'll try his best. For him, developing your region is his duty. But for you, it's your home, it's your passion. Even if you're not posted in that region, your heart will always try to do something for the development of that region and for the people over there. So it is even more important for students from these remote regions, remote areas, to develop, to grow, because they have a detailed knowledge, a detailed information, because they've lived there, of that region, and then they can contribute back. So also people ask this question, whether doctors should be allowed in civil services, right? I've faced this question, I don't know how many times, and you just get tired of addressing this question every time. And the complaint that they have is that the country needs a lot of doctors, and you have wasted a seat, and doctors should not be allowed to go into civil services. So first of all, let me be clear. Yes, we have, so to say, committed the crime of wasting a seat. Yes, I agree. There's no denying that fact. But I think we should be judged at the end of our careers, not right now. As a doctor, yes, we might be able to contribute a little, as much as we can. But if we enter civil services, we are in a position to bring about an impact, a change that would affect a large number of people. For example, if we reach the policy corridors, and since we know exactly what is going wrong in the medical field, if we are able to put in place certain policies which help doctors and patients, it would make a larger impact. It would affect everyone. So it is even more important for people from the medical field to enter administration. Somebody who has not lived that field, we have been there. We know what is going wrong, what problems we are facing as students, as doctors, as patients, what they are facing. We know that exactly. And that is why, until and unless people from this field enter administration, it is very difficult for the whole system to change. We all want it to change. We expect the government to make necessary changes. We expect the IAS officers, the higher ranking officials to make all these changes. But how is it possible until unless we enter the services? So I think it is important, and that is why we are trying to give you this guidance, not to make you feel that this field is better than medical field. I think there is no other field that I respect more. Being a doctor is an honor. It's an opportunity, and as I say, once a doctor, always a doctor. It stays with you. But there are some of us who want to make certain changes, who want to get into administration, and for them, guidance is necessary. I think that is where medical students lag behind as compared to, say, people from the engineering side and so on. Regarding UPSC, I would not go too much into the nitty-gritties of the preparation. I have a YouTube channel for that. You can search my name. I would be referring to you, referring to it more often, because the reason why I had started this YouTube channel was I realized that people don't have the right information, and to get that information, they have to pay to these classes, which is unnecessary. There is so much information available free of cost. Those who have succeeded should give it back to the society, and that was the main reason why I started it. I've put in a lot of videos, so you can go through it to get the details of how to prepare, which books to follow, and all. I would say that talking about guidance, especially in medical colleges, now we know in medical colleges we have a lot of studies, but then if some people are interested in preparing for UPSC, they start their preparations, but they don't have the right information. In institutes like, say for example, IITs, they have a trend. Every year there are people who are preparing for UPSC, and there are a lot of people who crack UPSC and get into these into the civil services. So there is a trend. You can ask your senior, the senior gives you a feedback, what is to be done. So every year there are lots of students from the IITs. I'll tell you, in the training academy, Labasna, we had almost 400 students, and out of which I think 60-70% were engineers. A lot of them from premier engineering colleges, IITs and NIITs and all these colleges, because they have, they have seen their seniors succeed. In our colleges, we are so much stuck in this medical officership or residency or cracking PG. Then there is no dearth of confusion. Half the time we are confused what is to be done. Even within medical field, whether you should go for becoming a medical officer, or whether you should take a state exam, or whether you should take individual exams for, say, PGI, AIMS, JIPMER, or you should go for AIPG, NEET, now NEXT, and then maybe you should go for USMLE or PLAB. Options are not bad, but too many options without right information, it creates such a dilemma in the minds of medical students that we end up doing nothing. That's what happens until and unless it is absolutely necessary. And by that time, you have already fallen back. People in maybe cities or who have better information are already ahead of you. So that's what happens. And in any case, in medical colleges, the mahal is such that people already tell us, our so-called well-wishers, our seniors, already guide us in such a way that बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा सोचने से भी डर लगता है. As a medical student, I remember, I don't know what the condition is right now, but in first year, I was like, okay, now I'm going to become a doctor. So maybe I should read all standard books. No offense against, against Indian authors, but still, there is a difference. So you, by Guyton and your well-wisher seniors tell you, ye padhega to pass nahi hoga, then you move to Sembulingam. And then in second year, you leave Robbins, and then you take Harsh Mohan, and then Harrison, such a wonderful book. You leave that and you go to Matthews, and I don't know what not. At least that's what happened in my college. I don't know about you guys. Some of you might be able to relate to it, but that's what happens. And now when you have this trend, then people also have this mentality कि यार UPSC छोड़ MPSC करते हैं, यार MPSC छोड़ अपना medical ही ठीक है, So that's what happens. Not saying that these things are bad, not saying that MPSC or medical options are bad, but then this mentality of not trying something larger that comes into us because of the so-called mahal or so-called guidance that we get. And we have certain advantages as medical officers. We should harness that, we should utilize that to crack these examinations. We should get into the system, and we should try together collectively to make certain changes. Now you would ask me whether being a doctor is better or being an officer is better. So as I said, uh, there is no other profession like the medical profession, like a doctor. Nothing can compare, nothing else. Officer वगैरह वो सब तो बात की बात है. But being a doctor, you are in a position to save lives, right? You are seeing it in this COVID crisis. Nobody, सारी hopes तो doctors पे हैं. Doctors ने hopes छोड़ दी तो फिर कहाँ जाएंगे, right? So in my academy, as I told you, we were 20 doctors and almost 300 engineers. We never needed them, but more often than not, they needed us. So that's what it's, this information about the human body, about diseases, about ways to keep people healthy. It's an advantage. And I'll tell you, we have certain pros, also certain cons that help us in these examinations. Like I said, they have, in my interview, for example, out of the 30 minutes, for 20 minutes, they grilled me, five people taking the personality test, the interview. They asked me, why have you, wasted seats, and why have you come here? 20 minutes out of those 30 minutes, every time they would start with that question, go over to another question. अच्छा ठीक है, आप ये बताओ, इंडिया के बारे में ये सब बताओ. और जब मैं बताता था, then they used to come back to the same question. अच्छा वो सब छोड़ो, तुमने यूपीएससी क्यों किया, तुमने मेडिकल क्यों नहीं कंटिन्यू किया? And then I answered it, and they seemed to be satisfied. Then they went to some other question. अच्छा ठीक है, इसके बारे में बताओ, इकोनॉमी के बारे में बताओ, so and so. And then again, अच्छा वो सब छोड़ो, पर तुमने मेडिकल सीट क्यों वेस्ट की, ये बताओ. And I was like, सर अभी तो बताया था, मतलब 5 मिनट भी नहीं हुए. And I don't have like 5 different answers for that. But yeah, they were not checking my knowledge. Maybe they were checking my temperament. Maybe they were checking my resolve, right? That was the real test back then. But as doctors, we need to be confident. We need to tell ourselves that we need. Now people are asking me what my answer was. I'll tell you. See, my answer was, like I said, respectfully, judge me at the end of my career. That is what I am going to do. Even I am going to judge myself at the end of my career. Maybe as a doctor, I would have contributed, but as someone in the administrative field, I'll be able to contribute better. As a doctor, I might have an impact in a certain city, in a certain region, but as an administrator, I'd be able to address the concerns of patients and doctors in a better way. Especially in the foreign service, now I am in a position to understand what is going on in the other countries, what are the best practices here, what things that we can get back to India. I'm also in a position to promote our medical sciences, Ayurveda, yoga in these countries, right? So there will be an exchange, there will be an information exchange. So who would be able to do it better than a doctor himself, right? So we need people, we need doctors in administration as well. And if I am given this opportunity, I try my best to get these best practices back to India and to take what India has to offer in the medical field to the world. So that was my answer. Regarding the point, you have wasted seat and all, I would say that a person who is in the medical field and who's not contributing his best, if he's dissatisfied or if he's not willing to do what is needed, he is wasting a seat as well. So if you are, and it can happen to everyone. So if you are one of those people, then it's better to change, to do whatever. See, ultimately our aim is to uh, serve the society, samaj ke liye, matrubhumi ke liye, right? So it doesn't matter how you do that. As a doctor, yes, if you can do it in a better way, why not change it? It doesn't matter. So and why IFS? So like I said, while doing this, while I wanted to be an IAS, to be frank, I had started this journey with IAS in my mind, because diplomat dekha kisne hota hai? I had not seen a diplomat, never in my life. जब तक मैं खुद नहीं बना तब तक मैंने डिप्लोमेट देखा ही नहीं था कि ये लोग दिखते कैसे हैं, या करते क्या हैं. IAS, we all know, right? I'll tell you a small thing, when I was doing my MBBS and wasting my time blissfully, my father once arranged a meeting with our district collector, who was also a doctor, and his name was Dr. Shrikar Pardeshi. You might be knowing him, he's very famous and a brilliant officer. And he was kind enough to give us some time, it was like a, I don't know, 3-minute, 5-minute meeting. So my father took me there, and back then UPSC was not in my mind. So for me, it was just a task, my father is taking me, so I just have to go with him. And then my father asked, sir, what would you suggest? What would you advise? And Shrikar Pardeshi sir told me one advice he gave me was, don't do PG. If you are interested, if you are interested in UPSC, don't take these PG entrance examinations, because you will waste a lot of time in these exams. Just go for UPSC. I think I was in my second or third year, I don't remember, and I had no such plans. So I was like, okay, yes sir, I'll consider it and all, and respectfully, of course, but that was not in my mind. And I did the same mistake twice. He had advised me not to take PG, and I took PG 2 times. First All India PG, it was the last All India PG entrance, and then NEET, the government announced NEET, so NEET had come. So I took AIPG once, got into KEM, left it, took NEET, and got into MAMC. So I did the mistake twice. So that's why this session, to advise you every wrong step that I had taken, or I didn't know, I didn't have the guidance. So I went through that. And the reason why I left KEM, some of you are asking that, some of you might have that question, is precisely because KEM is one of the best institutions in the region, right? And since I had done my UG from Aurangabad, we always thought that KEM was this one institution which had everything that all the peripheral institutions are lacking. So it was a dream to get into that institution. My father is a pediatrician. It was my dream to become a pediatrician. Dream as in when I was preparing for the PG entrance. So that was what I had aimed at. And thankfully I got a rank wherein I could get MD Pediatrics at KEM. But when I went there, I saw that the conditions over there, वो कहते हैं ना, मराठीत म्हणतात ना दुरून डोंगर साजरे. I don't know how it is said, दूर के ढोल सुहाने, या something like that. Yeah. So that's how it was. I went there and I saw the same problems on a larger scale. The patients are suffering. It's a brilliant institute. I have nothing against that institute. They are doing their best. What can they do? I mean, they don't have the resources. They are themselves overstretched. But the way things are, or the way things were back then, I hope things have improved. But the way things were back then, the patients were suffering. The residents were being treated as slaves, almost. Yeah. Medical students were clueless, as in every other medical college. And the amount of suffering that a doctor or a medical or paramedical staff went through was just unbearable back then. So, and the thing is, when you have achieved it after such amount of efforts, it's not easy to crack PG entrance exam, as you all might be knowing. all India entrance, it's as tough as it gets. And once you crack it, you don't want to leave it, you know, and that gives an unfair power to people who are in the positions of authority to just rule you, to ignore your concerns. You know, nobody is there to listen to you. Everybody has suffered the same fate. Everybody has risen in along the ladder through the same suffering. But then nobody is ready to turn back and say that ठीक है यार, जब मैं resident था मुझे भी तकलीफ हुई थी, मैं try करूंगा कि मेरे resident को तकलीफ ना हो. Maybe he should get better working hours, maybe he should get better conditions so that he serves the patients better. It's not for a selfish reason. Our ultimate aim is to serve the society. But for that, you think that if you ask a resident to work for 3 days, 7 days straight without a break, he'd be able to perform. I don't think medical knowledge tells us that. We all start complaining, or we all agitate when you know, people start beating doctors, and it's very unfair. Doctors who have already worked so hard, who are already, you know, overworked, stressed, people beat them, and we all get agitated, rightfully so. But then यार दूसरों से क्या कंप्लेन करना. अब हमारे अपने लोग, अब हमारे अपने डॉक्टर्स एसोसिएशंस अगर इस चीज को प्रॉपर्ली हाईलाइट नहीं करेंगे, if we don't help ourselves, we can't expect it from the others. And that is what I felt at KEM. If such a big hospital, such a renowned hospital has such problems, what am I going to expect from the other hospitals in the peripheral regions? So that is when I had to make a decision, and my decision was not to continue just because I have earned it with a lot of difficulty, but to leave this thing completely, try again for something else, something better, get into the administration, and then try to make certain changes. Am I proud of it? I'm not proud of what I have been through, but I'm definitely proud of the decision that I was able to take. And I'm thankful to the people who supported me back then. Because एज अ डॉक्टर मैं डॉक्टर बन जाता, मैं तब थोड़ा सह लेता, आज मैं एक सक्सेसफुल पीडियाट्रिशियन होता, ये सब हो जाता, बट मेरी खुद से वो उम्मीद नहीं होती. आई वुडंट हैव एक्सपेक्टेड इट फ्रॉम माई सेल्फ टू ब्रिंग अबाउट अ चेंज, टू मेक इट बेटर फॉर द मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स, फॉर डॉक्टर्स. बट नाउ इन दिस पोजिशन आई एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम माई सेल्फ दैट छोटा सा ही कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन क्यों ना हो, I don't know if I'll be successful or not, but at least now I can expect it from myself that I'll bring about a change. I'll at least try. And I know I can be a hope for a lot of doctors out there. So I think that was a good decision. See, there are so many things. I mean, if I start talking, I can talk for, you know, because itna experience hai, har cheez ke bare mein ek din mein baat kar sakta hu. But what we'll do is, I have been told that you guys have sent your questions. There are some FAQs. I'll just hand over the mic to the organizers. Maybe they could ask me your questions and I'll respond to it. That way, I think most of your questions would be answered.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. आपका एक्सपीरियंस सुन के हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा, एंड आपका सेशन बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव भी रहा, एंड इट वाज आल्सो इंटरेस्टिंग, एंड वी वर एबल टू रिलेट टू मेनी थिंग्स एज बीइंग अ मेडिको. सो थैंक यू. अभी मैं क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन स्टार्ट करने के लिए श्वेता मैम, श्रीनाथ सर एंड सोहम सर के लिए हैंड ओवर करती हूँ. थैंक यू.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Sir, my first question is, what is that one quality or habit required to crack the UPSC exam?
Okay, one quality or one habit. I think talking about quality, I think that one quality, there are so many of course, but one quality I would say would be smartness. You know, smartness, दिखने वाली smartness नहीं, अंदर वाली smartness, you know. Smartness is something which combines, you know, intelligence, it combines hard work, it combines perseverance, dedication, it combines, you know, whatever it takes to crack this exam. It involves understanding the competition, it involves understanding yourself, understanding your advantages and disadvantages. And so I think that one quality would be smartness. You have to be smart to beat the competition, to get to that position, right? So for me, that quality would be smartness. And habit I would say is from UPSC perspective, I think revising every day would be that one habit. Everyday revisions, no matter how many times I tell you, 99% of you are not going to do that, and hence 99% of you won't succeed. So it's as simple as that. You do that, you'll succeed. So revising every day, and in general, one habit would be to not keep any early morning commitments. This is from my practical experience. Early morning commitments as in सुबह उठ के क्लास जाना है, या सुबह उठ के जिम जाना है, या सुबह उठ के I don't know what you do सुबह उठ के, but whatever you do, उसकी वजह से ना तुम रात को जाग के पढ़ाई कर पाओगे, ना तुम सुबह उठ के पढ़ाई कर पाओगे. So then you are wasting that crucial period when everybody else is sleeping, your competitors are sleeping and you are studying, right? So that's an advantage and you are losing out on that. So I think that would be one habit, that either wake up early or study till late, whatever suits you.
Okay, sir. Sir, my next question is, actually, this is the question from many of us students, that optional subject decides your rank. So is medical science an suitable optional subject for us medical students, or what should be an optional subject? Because many BMS, BHMS, or physiotherapy students give the exam. So what do you suggest?
Yeah, good question. I think optional and interviews, personality test, these are the most unfair things that is happening right now in UPSC. It absolutely doesn't give you a level playing field. It's such a disadvantage, because there are different things you're writing and you're being assessed by different people on different parameters. So it doesn't bring any parity. So personality test and optionals, I think, are unfair. And medical science as an optional, to put it in one single sentence, don't take it, guys. Don't take medical optional. I can't make it any simpler. ठीक है, medical science लेना मत. अगर लिया हुआ है, if you are already suffering, I'm there to help you, no doubt. But अगर सोच रहे हो अभी, तो मत लो medical science, because my friends used to complain कि यार optional बहुत बड़ा है, 3 किताबें पढ़नी पड़ रही है एक optional के लिए. This is so unfair. And I was like, 3 किताबें तो मेरी सिर्फ anatomy की है. तो can you understand the proportion? तो पूरी यूपीएससी की पढ़ाई एक तरफ है और अपना मेडिकल साइंस एक तरफ है. आई थिंक आई हैव डिवोटेड not less than 60-70% of the time for just medical science optional, and you can imagine there's history, geography, economics, polity, art and culture, environment, ethics. There are so many things to be studied. You're doing it for the first time and तुम्हारा टेंशन वो नहीं है, वो कर लेंगे. सबसे बड़ा टेंशन है ऑप्शनल, because your well-wishers, your seniors tell you that जब तक ऑप्शनल नहीं होता कोई फायदा ही नहीं है करके, तेरा रैंक ही नहीं आएगा. So then you go back to your optional, which is medical science, and you start studying all these subjects. अब I'll tell you कि dilemma क्या होता है, what medical students face. They have no clue about UPSC when they start preparing. They have to decide an optional. कम से कम एक तो ऐसी चीज हो जो जान पहचान की हो. तो जान पहचान का क्या है? मेडिकल साइंस. इट डजंट मैटर वो कितना बड़ा मॉन्स्टर है, बट फिर भी बिकॉज वी जस्ट नो अबाउट इट, बिकॉज वी थिंक दैट वी हैव स्टडीड इट फॉर सो मेनी इयर्स, वी थिंक तो कि यार चलो कुछ ना कुछ लिख देंगे. बट वी शुड रियलाइज दैट कुछ ना कुछ लिख के कुछ ना कुछ ही मार्क्स मिलते हैं, राइट? एंड दैट इज नॉट व्हाट वी आर टारगेटिंग. हमारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स, people are asking what was your optional. भाई मेरा ऑप्शनल मेडिकल साइंस ही था. डोंट थिंक कि इसने तो मेडिकल साइंस लेके क्रैक कर लिया, अभी हमें बोल रहा है कि मत लो. इट्स द सेम थिंग कि मेरा फोटो क्लास पे देख के लोग बोलते हैं कि इसने तो क्लास लगा के क्रैक कर दिया, अब हमें बोल रहा है कि क्लास मत लगाओ. सो यू शुड लर्न फ्रॉम माय मिस्टेक्स ना. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग कि मेडिकल साइंस में इट गेट्स वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड. द अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम you spend in studying for medical optional, you would easily study something else, some other optional. You would be able to revise it, and that might also help you in the other general studies paper. So your time is being utilized for multiple papers, right? That's not true with medical science. And if you see medical science optional, if you study the optional itself, the paper is not like your university exams. they pose case studies, they pose questions, they give you scenarios, and then you have to diagnose and then treat a patient. So if your diagnosis is wrong in the first place, you have lost the entire, you have lost all 10-15 marks. So that's why it's not easy also. Okay, it's not that कुछ पढ़ा होगा, कुछ याद आ जाएगा, कुछ लिख देंगे. You are not going to score marks in that. I remember medical science is the last paper, when you're taking the mains, it's it's a long process, and the last papers are medical science. I was literally so exhausted by then that I had, no energy no energy to study for medical science. And I think it was probably the most difficult day of my life, studying for medical science, that day for UPSC. And the study itself is difficult. The paper is so lengthy, I don't know, again, किसने ये syllabus बनाया, कौन ये papers बना रहा है. We should all have a get together with these people, UPSC में कौन ये बना रहा है, क्योंकि I think उनको clue ही नहीं है कि लिखना कितना होता है और उन 3 घंटों में, उस limited time में इतना लिखा जाएगा क्या. I don't know, unreasonable expectations हैं लोगों के. But it's unfair to us. We end up losing. I think I got 50 marks less. And I think the difference between me and rank 1, or me and the last rank, or the person who couldn't get into the rank list, is about 50 marks. So you're understanding how much it matters. So it's very unfair. You have lost those marks. Instead, so what's the solution? Instead, I think you could think of subjects like anthropology, or there's psychology, which are related. You could be able to grasp it faster. These are better optionals, less syllabus, lesser number of books, and you can grasp it faster. Go for these optionals, cover these optionals as fast as you can, and then you're done with it.
So my next question is, we as a students are going to give PG exam first. So PG exam would be exam after just after final year. So okay. There is a fear among us that if we don't crack UPSC, फिर तो PG भी हाथ से चला जाएगा और UPSC भी चला जाएगा अगर मेडिकल साइंस नहीं लिया ऑप्शनल तो.
Okay.
Sir, because many I have seen many people they are giving 4, 5, 6 attempts of UPSC, still they are not able to crack.
Yeah. एक चीज मैं क्लियर कर दूं कि यूपीएससी कोई एग्जिट स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं है कि हमें मेडिकल अब पसंद नहीं आ रहा तो यूपीएससी करते हैं, या हमें मेडिकल डिफिकल्ट जा रहा है या पीजी डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है तो यूपीएससी करते हैं. दिस इज नॉट एन एग्जिट स्ट्रैटेजी. मैंने मेडिकल इसलिए नहीं छोड़ा था कि मुझे मेडिकल पसंद नहीं था, राइट? मुझे पसंद था, मुझे बनना था डॉक्टर, बट सिचुएशन ऐसी हो गई कि मुझे लगा कि नहीं, इससे बेटर वो हो सकता है. यहाँ पे सिचुएशन वैसी नहीं है, जो मैं उम्मीद कर रहा था मेडिकल फील्ड से वो वैसी नहीं निकली, राइट? एंड बहुत बड़ी उम्मीदें नहीं थी. मैं गवर्नमेंट मेडिकल कॉलेज औरंगाबाद से हूँ, मराठवाड़ा से. तो जो वहां सरवाइव कर सकता है वो आई थिंक कहीं भी सरवाइव कर सकता है. तो बहुत ज्यादा उम्मीदें नहीं थी, पर वो भी पूरी नहीं हो रही थी, एंड दैट्स व्हाई द थिंग इज आई वांटेड टू get into administration to bring about a change. अगर तुम्हें भी ऐसा कुछ सोसाइटी के लिए करना है, then yes, then UPSC is for you. But just because ये अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, वो ठीक होगा, इसलिए मत करो. या PG difficult लग रहा है इसलिए UPSC करते हैं, वो मत करो. See, if you are doing your MBBS or medical graduation, any medical graduation, if you can't be a good doctor, you can never be a good officer. You mark my words. ठीक है? पहले तुम ट्राई करो कि जो काम तुम अच्छे जो काम तुम कर रहे हो, पसंद हो ना हो, अगर तुम वो अच्छे से कर पा रहे हो, तभी तुम यूपीएससी की भी अच्छे से तैयारी कर पाओगे ना. आई कुड ओनली बिकम एन ऑफिसर बिकॉज आई वॉज अ गुड स्टूडेंट. मेरे को मार्क्स कम ज्यादा होते रहते थे, बट आई थिंक आई वॉज अ गुड स्टूडेंट. मैं जब मेडिकल के लिए भी पढ़ता था, आई यूज्ड टू गिव माई बेस्ट कि जो नॉलेज मिल रही है वो यार अच्छे से हम ग्रास्प कर लेते हैं. सेम अप्लाइज टू यूपीएससी एज वेल. तो अगर आप एक अच्छे डॉक्टर बनने के लायक नहीं हो तो आप एक अच्छे ऑफिसर बनोगे नहीं. अगर आप में वो क्वालिटीज नहीं है कि आप पीजी एंट्रेंस क्रैक कर पाओ, तो आप यूपीएससी क्रैक नहीं कर पाओगे. आई एम टेलिंग यू, इफ यू डोंट हैव दैट if you don't have those qualities in you to crack one particular entrance at the national level, you're not going to crack the other national entrance, you know, because the syllabus and the pattern and everything, the questions might be different, but the essence, you know, the techniques remain the same. So if you have the right techniques, you can crack any entrance, you know. मैंने AIPG दी थी, उसमें निकला था रैंक, नीट में निकला था, एंड यूपीएससी में भी निकल गया. इट डजंट मीन कि मैं बहुत स्मार्ट हूँ, नहीं, नॉट एट ऑल. इट मीन्स कि जो टेक्निक्स मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ अपनी स्टडी में, या जिस तरीके से मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ, द वे आई एम tackling these entrance examinations, they might have different patterns, but if you have the right techniques, you will crack it. So the thing is, those who are preparing right now and they are confused between UPSC and the PG entrance exam, I would suggest you ask yourself, where do you see yourself 5 years down the lane? You know, do you wish to be an officer or do you wish to be a doctor? If you really wish to be an officer, you know, go for UPSC. Then don't think twice, okay, कि मैं PG कर सकता था, मैं ये. There are opportunity costs always, you know. You might be thinking, you'll see your engineering friends, वो तो अभी US में बैठ के बहुत पैसे कमा रहे हैं, और तुम यहाँ रोड पे जाके स्ट्राइक कर रहे हो कि यार डॉक्टर्स की 10,000 तनख्वाह बढ़ाओ, डॉक्टर्स को सेफ्टी ज्यादा दो, you know. So there are always opportunity costs. You might think कि तब इंजीनियरिंग ही कर लेता यार, right? So there are always opportunity costs. अभी तुम यूपीएससी की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो, यू माइट थिंक कि यार 2 साल से यूपीएससी नहीं निकल रहा, मैंने पीजी कर लेता तो मे बी मेरा एम्स में रैंक निकल जाता. माय डियर फ्रेंड, आप यही एग्जाम ठीक से नहीं क्लियर कर पा रहे हो, आपसे प्रीलिम्स नहीं निकल रही है, हाउ डू यू इमेजिन, यू नो, आप नहीं कर पाओगे पीजी एग्जाम भी. सो माय पॉइंट इज, फर्स्ट यू आस्क योरसेल्फ which exam are you targeting. If it's UPSC, make a timeline, you know. Don't just keep taking this exam for like 5-6 years. Give yourself a timeline of 2 years, you know. First attempt should be your target. Sometimes bad luck हो सकता है, so second attempt, that's it. 2 attempt से अगर नहीं निकला, 2 attempt के बाद भी PG एग्जाम तो कभी भी दे सकते हो, उसको एज लिमिट नहीं है, राइट? Go back, study for your PG and decide that ठीक है, अभी डॉक्टर तो है ही, राइट? तो वो कर लेते हैं. You should remember that your competitors are engineers, art students, lawyers. इन सब के पास एक plan B है, right? They have certain plan B. इंजीनियर वापस जाके इंजीनियरिंग कर सकता है, लॉयर उसका जॉब कर सकता है if he doesn't crack it. What can you guys do? You guys are doctors. इससे बढ़िया plan B हो ही नहीं सकता, right? You are already, you know, you already have that comfort. भूखे हम मरने नहीं वाले कभी भी. हम कहीं पे भी जाके अपनी दुकान लगा देंगे ना, हिमाचल के किसी गांव में भी जाके आज मैं बैठ जाऊंगा. I'd serve the society, you know, they'd love me and I'd love the job as well. कि यहाँ जरूरत थी, मैं यहाँ आ गया, और मुझे करना कुछ नहीं है. जिनको बेसिक मेडिकल नीड्स है वो भी अगर मैंने दे दी, you know, बेसिक छोटी सी डिस्पेंसरी खोल के, तब भी I have lived a purposeful life. So we have a very good, very strong plan B. और अगर आपका इंटेंशन सोसाइटी को सर्व करना है, तो यूपीएससी तो बस एक जरिया है उसका. अगर 2 साल में नहीं क्रैक हो पाया, विल ट्राई फॉर पीजी, यू नो. अगर पीजी नहीं हो पाया, एज एन एमबीबीएस, एज अ मेडिकल ऑफिसर, हम जाके कहीं पे भी, जहां पे भी जरूरत हो, गढ़चिरौली में काम कर लेंगे, कहीं पे भी, गोंदिया में कर लेंगे या बिहार में कर लेंगे. wherever there is opportunity, we'll go and we'll work, और वहां नाम कमाएंगे एज अ डॉक्टर. You will earn more respect, more name as compared to an officer, you know, if you do that. So have that in mind. पहले टारगेट सेट करो, यूपीएससी या पीजी. अगर यूपीएससी करना है तो टाइमलाइन सेट करो एंड ट्राई करो कि वो क्रैक करना ही है उस ड्यूरेशन में. नहीं हो पाया तो देन मेडिकल फील्ड है ही.
Yes. Sir, my next question is especially for rural India. Is it necessary to join classes, and did you join any?
Yeah. Yes, I had joined classes, to be frank, and I had not joined all the classes जिस पे मेरा फोटो दिखेगा, but yes, I had joined some classes, and I had left them in like 1 month or so. So वो सारा पैसा waste गया. Can you imagine? मतलब मैं KEM छोड़ रहा हूँ, वो एक शौक है मेरे पेरेंट्स के लिए कि इतनी मुश्किल से पीजी सीट मिली है, वो छोड़ दिया. अब जाके फिर से एंट्रेंस दिया, दिल्ली में लग गया, दिल्ली में कर रहा है एमडी. चलो माय पेरेंट्स थॉट कि ठीक है अब तो सेटल हो जाएगा। फिर लड़का बोल रहा है अब यूपीएससी करूंगा। अब यूपीएससी करने के लिए क्लासेस लगा रहा है। फिर क्लासेस के पैसे कौन देगा? पेरेंट्स से ही मांगने पड़ेंगे, क्योंकि सारे पैसे मैं उड़ा देता था। पैसे पेरेंट्स से लिए, क्लासेस लगाए, पेरेंट्स ने सोचा कि चलो ठीक है अब यूपीएससी कर लेगा, दैट इज एवरी फैमिलीज ड्रीम, एवरी पर्सन's ड्रीम। So then they didn't object. Thankfully, I got very support. We all have very supportive parents, right? They gave me that money. वो पैसे डुबा के मैं वापस आ गया 1 महीने में, thinking कि यार यहाँ पे इससे बेटर तो मैं खुद ही पढ़ लूंगा। So that's what my point is कि you just imagine a kindergarten class, you know, छोटे बच्चों की क्लास होती है ना, just imagine that, and suppose there are 100 children, and during the midday meal the teacher is feeding all these children equally, सारा same material सबको खिलाया जा रहा है, ठीक है, and हम expect करेंगे कि सब बच्चे 1 साल के बाद एक ही हाइट पे होंगे, क्योंकि हम सबको वैसे खिला रहे हैं, राइट, सेम ही चीजें खिला रहे हैं। सो 1 साल के बाद अगर आप देखते हो तो सेम होता है क्या? अलग अलग हाइट होगी, राइट? क्यों? जब खिलाना स्टार्ट किया था तो क्या उनका न्यूट्रिशनल असेसमेंट किया गया था? उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स देखी गई थी, इंडिविजुअल नीड्स देखी गई थी, क्या उनकी एब्जॉर्प्शन, डाइजेशन, ये सारे फैक्टर्स कंसिडर किए गए थे? क्लासेस आर द सेम, यू नो, देयर इज अ हर्ड जिसको सेम चीजें फीड की जाएंगी, एंड देन एवरीबॉडी इज एक्सपेक्टिंग कि हम सबका रैंक निकलेगा। ऐसे नहीं होगा। दैट इज व्हाट आई रियलाइज्ड। आई थॉट अगर इनकी तरह में मतलब दे हेल्प यू, बट if you just go by what they say, you're not going to reach anywhere, you know, you are not going to get into that top 100 ranks. So classes, are they required? Classes are not required at all, in one sentence. They are absolutely not required. Earlier we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have officers to interact with, social media इतना popular नहीं था, किसी ऑफिसर से मिलना या बात करना या उन्हें सुनना बहुत ही एक मुश्किल टास्क होता था। Nowadays it's pretty easy. People message me, I reply back, you know, whenever I have time. वैसे ही बाकी ऑफिसर्स भी करते हैं। So you have guidance right now. You need a little patience, and everything is available on the internet. You know, if you are paying a class, especially those from rural areas, I've seen people जो यार अपनी सेविंग्स पूरी क्लासेस को दे देते हैं, 1-2 लाख रुपए लोगों ने अपने खेत बेच दिए हैं so that the sons and daughters become officers। और उसके बाद इन क्लासेस में क्या होता है कि वो पढ़ाई हो ही नहीं पाती, राइट? उतना अच्छे से वो पढ़ाते ही नहीं है, वो इंडिविजुअल नीड्स बताते ही नहीं है। से फॉर एग्जांपल श्रीनाथ, यू मैसेज मी एंड यू आस्क मी कि सर मेरे ये रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, मेरी ये कंडीशन है, आप तो जनरल गाइडलाइन कि ये सब पढ़ना होता है तो फायदा नहीं है ना। until and unless I understand कि तुम्हारी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, तुम्हारा प्लान क्या है, तुम्हारे पास टाइम कितना है, how much are you working, until and unless I customize it, it's of no use to you. A general guidance is exactly. So that is what classes do. अगर वो पैसे ले रहे हैं तो किस बात के पैसे ले रहे हैं? अगर पैसे ले रहे हो तो इंडिविजुअल गाइडेंस दो। They should personalize it for every student. They are charging you 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees. It's not a small amount for a student or his family, but they don't personalize it. And saying that classes are compulsory or necessary, you know, it's like saying कि अगर बच्चा हॉर्लिक्स या बोर्नविटा नहीं खाएगा तो बच्चा बड़ा नहीं होगा। अरे come on, I mean, you do it by yourself, you just get the right guidance. मेरा YouTube चैनल है वो देख लो, बाकी ऑफिसर्स के चैनल्स हैं वो देख लो, सारा कुछ फ्री डाल रखा है उसमें आप लोगों के लिए। You just see it and you take what is important for you, make your own plan, and if possible, जब भी possible हो, किसी ऑफिसर से पर्सनली बात करो, let him customize that plan for you, let him tell you कि ये आपके लिए ठीक रहेगा, आप यहाँ वीक हो, आप ये करो तो आप सक्सीड कर सकते हो। That's what you need, that's all you need. क्लासेस का एक और प्रॉब्लम मैं बताता हूँ। You go there, जो सब बोलते हैं वो आप सुनते हो, जैसा सब आंसर लिखेंगे वही आंसर आप लिखोगे, जैसे सबको मार्क्स मिलते हैं वही मार्क्स आपको मिलेंगे, and you'll be in that common pool which doesn't get selected and which joins the classes again next year, you know, उसी pool का आप हिस्सा बने रहते हो। Plus in addition you get additional notes, additional instructions, it's also confusing, पहले ही इतना है पढ़ने के लिए। So it's not necessary, don't waste your time, internet पे सब available है आज की डेट में। Just spare some time, do your own research, and go ahead with it.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Good afternoon, sir. So, sir, we have next question from our first year medicine students. They are saying that we have 3-4 years to complete our MBBS. So they have a doubt that when should they start studying up for UPSC if they're really interested in UPSC.
Okay, first year students.
Yes.
Yeah, you are already late. You should have started it way back. Just kidding.
No, we have we have doubt from audience over here.
Yeah, I understand. You have a lot of time. You know, I had started my preparation after completing my MD, and you are first year MBBS students. So, you know, you have all the time in the world. You have to plan it properly, you know. As said again, beat anyone, you know, MBBS, BDS, BMS, BHMS, doesn't matter. People who are starting early, you have an advantage. What you should do is you make a proper plan, you know. Key, the first thing, step one would be to study the syllabus, to study the pattern of UPSC. Ask yourself, do you see yourself as a doctor? अब ठीक है, सीट ले ली है, बाकी सब मत सोचो कि डॉक्टर ही बनना है या ले लिया अब, या प्री मेडिकल क्रैक करके आया हूं अब क्या होगा. इफ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड, गो फॉर इट, यू नो. गिव योरसेल्फ अ प्लान, syllabus study karo, exam pattern study karo. The next thing would be start, decide your optional, you know. How do you do that? There are 4 ways. I call it SHIT shit because optional hota hi वैसा है. So how do you do that? पहले तो ऐसा optional choose करो which has a good score. S is for score, scoring होना चाहिए वो, right? In the past 3 to 5 years, you get all this information on the internet. An optional which is scoring, one that helps you in the other general studies papers, you know, and helps as in, for example, an optional like history, it would also help you in GS1, you know, in the other papers. And then it should also be, you know, you should be able to complete it in time. It should be tolerable for you. So that way you select a good optional. That's the second thing. The third thing would be to start following newspapers, start reading them, start understanding current affairs. You don't need to prepare any notes right now. For the optional, yes, but for current affairs, no. Because for current affairs, you only need notes and detailed preparation for 1 year before your exam. And there is a static portion which doesn't change. For example, geography, history, art and culture, these things are not going to change. It doesn't matter which year you take your exam. So you can prepare these static portions. So that way you study the syllabus, choose your optional, start following the newspapers or current affairs. And third thing, you do all these static things which are not going to change. So that way you have prepared a very good base for your final year, you know.
Yes.
So prepare that, you know, make that background, that base, so that you are ready to launch. You be like that rocket जिसमें सब ready है, अभी बस countdown की देर है कि कब मैं final preparation start करूं.
So next question we have, sir, is what is one strategy regarding ethics and essay? How can one prepare for ethics and essay?
Okay, good question again. Ethics and essays are one of the most neglected papers in the whole syllabus, because लोगों को लगता है कि ऐसे तो मैं लिख ही दूंगा and ethical तो मैं हुई, ठीक है. So अलग से prepare लोग करते नहीं है, but that's a big mistake. You have to prepare for these papers as per the pattern and score more. ये scoring papers हैं, और क्योंकि बाकी लोग उसमें ध्यान नहीं देते तो आप उसमें additional marks score कर सकते हो. Regarding ethics, see again, ethics में step 1 would be to understand the question paper. Question papers are available. आप नेट पे डालोगे ना, सारे question papers आ जाएंगे. Mrunal's website, Insights on India, these are some good websites जहाँ पे आपको सारी information उसकी मिल जाएगी, previous papers की, syllabus की. So see the papers, see what kind of questions are there, compare it with the syllabus. Syllabus से paper को compare करना है कि ये syllabus में है और वो इतनी बार आ चुका है. This is what people focus on, right? The question paper focuses on. And उसके बाद syllabus का जो हर part है, you know, every part, you should have two examples. One is from your own personal life or a real life example, and one is an ideal example of a great leader. For example, say courage, an example, point like courage. You can have a real life example, like how, say for example, a lady who faced a difficulty in her life, who fought for it or stood for her own rights. That could be a real life example, or how you did it in your own life. And an ideal example, you could give the example of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, or Dr. Subhash Chandra Bose, or whatever. I mean, uh, for every point, you should have these two sets of examples with you. So when you're writing ethics, you should understand that जब आप आंसर लिख रहे हो, बुकिश नहीं लगना चाहिए वो. You know, a person is asking you कि how, give me some example of honesty, or tell me how honesty is important for a civil servant, so and so, such kind of questions. And you can't give them bookish answers. You know, you should have examples. You should start with a quote maybe, and then substantiate it with a real life example. That is how you make that answer better. Follow standard books. You know, there are standard books. You just put books for ethics, most common books for ethics. We have made videos on that. There are many videos. Purchase those books, read those books, but don't let your answers be bookish. You're getting the point.
Yeah.
And in the end, you should remember that ethics can't be taught. Reading ethics and expecting someone to be ethical is just like reading about a healthy diet and expecting that you would have a good figure. You would be in good shape. That's not how it happens. You have to implement it. You have to put it in practice. So just reading is not going to make your answers better. You have to think over it. So spend some time, read the standard books, spend some time with the syllabus, with the question paper, and think over it, and jot down your own points कि मैं इसको कैसे लिखूंगा, right? And for essays, again a very neglected part. जब भी मैं timetable suggest करता हूँ, I have made videos on this, also on ethics. I always suggest people to spare one day of the week, Sundays, on essays. You have to prepare for essays in a dedicated way. अपने आप नहीं हो जाएगा वो. You have to start writing, you have to start practicing, you have to start brainstorming. ये कैसे करना है ये सब? There is a video. आप सुयश चौहान essays या ऐसे search कर लीजिए YouTube पे, you'll get that video. I think it was one of the best made videos, but unfortunately it was not under the banner of any popular class, so it didn't get many views, and so YouTube is not going to suggest you. So if you search it, I think अच्छा है, बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं है ये ट्रिक्स एंड टेक्निक्स. तो आप देखोगे तो जो भी देखेगा उसका बेनिफिट होगा. Yeah.
So next question we have is like now we are busy with our work, studies and all. So how should we keep motivating ourselves throughout this whole journey of UPSC? What motivated you throughout your journey?
Okay, so for people who are doing their jobs, it's actually difficult because you should realize that your competitors are studying for 10 hours, 12 hours every day, and your competitors are not stupid. They are from the IITs, IIMs, AIMS, premier colleges, medical students, lawyers, and all these people. So they are talented people, and then they are putting in 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours sometimes. And then you're expecting that no matter how brilliant you are expecting that you would be able to manage that in like 3-4 hours a day. It's not your fault, but it's going to be difficult. So be reasonable, make a timetable, give yourself the option कि मेरे को 2 साल लगेंगे पढ़ने के लिए. With per day, if you study for 3-4 hours, give yourself 2 years. Then you don't put additional pressure on yourself, and you make a schedule which is more likely to give you success, right? What you should see is, I can't say कि कोई job करो या मत करो. There are family compulsions, लोगों को monetary compulsions होते हैं, so I understand that, but then you make a schedule accordingly. See, if you are doing a job, if you have to do a job, you join, you do your job, and make a schedule जिसमें read the essential part. Like I said, smartness is what you need. अगर तुम्हारे पास कम टाइम है तो जस्ट लिमिट योर सोर्सेस. अगर लोग 2 बुक्स पढ़ रहे हैं तो सी कि आप एक बुक में कैसे कवर कर लोगे, राइट? या फिर अगर कोई 4-5 बार किसी चीज को रिवाइज कर रहा है, यू नो दैट यू डोंट हैव दैट लग्जरी, यू जस्ट हैव द टाइम फॉर वन रिविजन. सो मेक श्योर कि तुम्हारी फर्स्ट रीडिंग इतनी अच्छी हो कि एक रिविजन के अंदर तुम्हें वो याद रह जाए. So for that, utilize all your medical tips, tricks, techniques for that. You know, जब time कम हो, you have to be more, you have to be smarter, right? So उसके लिए devise certain techniques. Like I'll tell you, जैसे मैं कहता हूँ कि मैं ऑफिसर इसलिए बन पाया क्योंकि मैं पहले एक डॉक्टर था. अगर मैं डॉक्टर नहीं होता तो शायद मैं ऑफिसर भी नहीं बन पाता. Now, why do I say that? Because there are certain things that medical profession or this journey as a medical student has taught me. For example, जो prelims होता है यूपीएससी का, वो MCQ based होता है, right? So MCQ based ऑल इंडिया एंट्रेंस हमने भी दिया है, हमने मेडिकल दिया है, हमने नीट भी दिया है. So we are used to this entrance test, negative marking. वो हमें पता है, हमें पता है कैसे पढ़ना है, हमें पता है कि ऑप्शंस कैसे चूज करने हैं. जो मेंस होता है दैट इज थेरेटिकल, यू नो, बहुत लिखना पड़ता है, डायग्राम्स बनाओ और यू नो मतलब हाथ दुखने तक आप लिख के जा रहे हो. We have done that in our profs, in our university examinations, right? So उसकी भी हमें आदत है, ये दूसरों को नहीं होती. You know, this is your advantage, you should realize that. इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट्स के पास, लॉयर्स के पास ये एडवांटेज शायद ना हो, बट हमारे पास वो है, मेरे पास था. So in order to score more in your university exams, what do? You write it point wise, you put in diagrams, color karo, right? So the main aim is to grab their attention, right? That is what helped me. I applied that in UPSC, it helped me. अब interview, the UPSC interview, अरे भाई हम मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स हैं, हर साल जो वाइवा हम फेस करते हैं वो यूपीएससी इंटरव्यू से कम होता है क्या? ज्यादा टॉर्चर है उससे. So we have faced that. So उतना पैनिक करने की जरूरत नहीं. Treat it like your viva. ठीक है? हमारे HOD ज्यादा डरावने होते हैं. Officers तो are still very cute people. So we have that advantage with us. And when I was doing my MD in pharma, that is one thing I'd also encourage people to take non-clinical branches. Brilliant career opportunities, good work-life balance, and good opportunities to do something else also, right? So when I was doing my pharma, I used to teach medical students. मैं उनके पेपर्स भी करेक्ट करता था MBBS स्टूडेंट्स के. तो यू नो एक बंच आता था मेरे पास मैमसी के स्टूडेंट्स का, इनको करेक्ट करना है. तो जब थक जाते थे तो क्या करते थे हम लोग कि पे 100 मार्क्स का पेपर है तो जस्ट स्टार्ट गिविंग एवरीवन 65 65 60 65 70 60 65 70, राइट? जिसकी स्टडी अच्छी नहीं है वो तो खुश हो जाएगा, वो तो सोचेगा कि यार मैंने तो 30 मार्क्स का लिखा था, सर तो कितने अच्छे हैं, सर इतने अच्छे मार्क्स देते हैं. तो वैसे हम वर्कलोड क्लियर करते थे. बट अगर कोई पेपर ऐसा दिखता कि जिसमें बंदे ने डायग्राम बनाई है, बहुत पॉइंट वाइज लिखा है, बहुत अच्छे से स्ट्रक्चर किया है, दैट इज व्हेन वी यूज्ड टू स्टॉप कि नहीं ये सीरियस है, ये 60-65 वाला नहीं है, ये 75-80 वाला है. He'll come back complaining कि मेरे 10 मार्क्स कहाँ गए. So then used to wait, उसको properly correct करके उसको whatever he deserved हम देते थे. You know, we were wrong, I agree, but that is how human nature is. That is what told me कि जो UPSC वाला जो चेक करेगा मेरा पेपर, उसको क्या इंसेंटिव है मेरा पेपर अच्छे से चेक करने का? वो तो करेगा नहीं ना. उसको बस एक टास्क दिया है कि पर पेपर तेरे को इतने रुपीज मिलेंगे एंड तुम्हें इतना इस टाइम ड्यूरेशन में करेक्ट करना है. उसको क्या लेना देना है कि इसमें से कोई बहुत रूरल एरिया से बहुत स्ट्रगल करके आया है, बहुत डिजर्विंग कैंडिडेट है, उसका अच्छे से करेक्ट करना है. He has no idea. You are what your paper represents. So what you have to do is make him look into your paper, grab his attention. तो उसके लिए जो भी करना है, again मैंने ये बहुत डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन किया है अपने वीडियोस. I won't go into the details. So when you're doing your job, your task is to focus on these minute aspects, grasp them earlier and put it into practice. जितना भी कम टाइम है, कम पढ़ो, उसकी प्रैक्टिस ज्यादा करो इन चीजों की. Put it in practice and crack it in a reasonable time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Sometimes job is necessary. It gives you that plan B, a backup. So don't leave your job if it is necessary. But if you have a supporting family, if you have gathered some money that you can, spare, and you can finance yourself, if there's no family compulsion, leave your job, give yourself one solid year कि एक साल में crack करना ही है, and you can do it as medicos. That is what I would suggest.
We have Soham here with us, so he'll also like to ask some questions. Soham.
Good afternoon,
hi.
sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I want to ask about the current affairs because current affairs are very much important in UPSC. So, how can we cultivate the habits of reading newspaper each and every day, or just reading a monthly magazines are enough?
Okay. So, see, what UPSC needs, or what you as an officer need, is to be aware of whatever things are going on. As an aspirant, you should be aware कि देश और दुनिया में चल क्या रहा है. So for that, there are multiple sources. You can read your newspapers, you can read magazines, there are YouTube channels, you could gain that knowledge from whichever source. That is not important. UPSC doesn't care आपने कौन सा पेपर पढ़ा, कितने पेपर पढ़े, कितनी बार पढ़े, आपने उसके नोट्स निकाले या नहीं. It doesn't matter. So for current affairs is probably the most important part of UPSC preparation, but you should be smart in choosing the sources. जब आपके पास टाइम कम है तो आप स्पेशली लाइक आई सेड जो जॉब कर रहे हैं या जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके पास टाइम कम होता है. सो डोंट वेस्ट टू मच टाइम इन रीडिंग न्यूज़पेपर्स. इट गिव्स यू अ फील गुड इफेक्ट कि मैंने आज पूरा न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ा, उसको 4 कलर के हाइलाइटर्स से कलर किया, फिर उसको कट किया, उसको पेस्ट किया. इट गिव्स यू अ फील गुड इफेक्ट, बट दिमाग में कितना है, दैट इज द मेन क्वेश्चन. And you just do one thing: you take your own notes from the newspaper, and after a month you compare it with the notes that these classes are producing free of cost. They are available online or in the market free of cost. You compare your notes with their notes, you would realize that those notes are being made by experts as in जो बहुत साल से पढ़ा रहे हैं. So they connect whatever is happening now with the previous knowledge. They predict कि इसका आगे क्या हो सकता है, जो कि हम और आप नहीं कर पाते as aspirants who have just started. So I think in that case it is better कि अगर ready-made information available है, पहले नहीं होती थी, तो पहले एक rule बन गया है कि newspaper रोज पढ़ना ही है. But now we have such sources, so utilize these sources and read from. What you can do is there are some good sources like Vision IAS or Insights on India. I'm not endorsing anyone, but these are the ones that I had used. So you can refer to their monthly magazines and prepare from these magazines, but make sure you get the newspaper online or offline and read the headings and the editorial part. Don't make notes that it's not necessary, क्योंकि notes हैं, बहुत ज्यादा notes बना के बहुत ज्यादा marks मिलेंगे ऐसा नहीं है, या बहुत नोट्स बनाओगे, बहुत न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ोगे तो वो याद आएगा एग्जाम के टाइम पे, ऐसा भी नहीं है. लिमिट योर सोर्सेस. वो मंथली मैगजीन्स भी ठीक से पढ़ोगे बहुत है. बस ये करो कि रीड दोज हेडलाइंस एवरी डे सो दैट यू डोंट मिस आउट ऑन सर्टेन टॉपिक्स, इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स. एंड डेली न्यूज़पेपर में से अगर कुछ तुम्हें अच्छा लगता है तो यू जस्ट ऐड इट इन दोज मंथली मैगजीन्स. उतना सा एक छोटा सा पार्ट. उसमें बहुत लिखने में टाइम पास मत करो, या बहुत कलाकारी दिखाते हैं ना, we show a lot of creativity. I used to do that too, So I have made a video how to prepare for current affairs without reading newspapers. You can see that. But all in all, this is the main point. And regarding editorials, see, editorials are there to give you a perspective. Editorials are written by eminent people. They have a lot of knowledge, in-depth information. They could be biased, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो जो भी लिखते हैं वो सच है, but then it gives you a perspective from a person who has more knowledge than you. So उसमें से important points ले लो. हर editorial को ना dissect करना है, जैसे anatomy में करते हैं ना, उस टाइप से, and उसका एक एक part लेना है कि इस editorial का इस part में उसने quote बोला है, तो ये quote में, for example, there is an editorial about women empowerment, suppose. You take a quote that somebody has said, you put it in your essay section, the notes or online notes जो भी आप बना रहे हो उसमें वो डाल दो कि इस पे ऐसे आएगा तो मैं ये लिखूंगा. If there is an example, make another folder of quotable examples, उसमें वो डाल दो. फिर कुछ अदर इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स होंगे जो आप GS3 जहाँ पे विमेन एम्पावरमेंट के बारे में पूछा जा सकता है, GS2 में पूछा जा सकता है, उसमें वो डाल दो. सो पूरे एडिटोरियल को आप कहाँ कहाँ यूज किया जा सकता है उस हिसाब से उसको डिवाइड करो, एंड दैट इज हाउ यू मेक इट मोर यूजफुल. Just reading it once or coloring it or cutting and pasting it is not going to help you. And when you have less time,
Sir, what?
just ready-made materials.
Thank you, sir. Sir, what will be your strategy for 2021 people? Means they have prelims in next 9 months and mains in next September. So, what will be strategy for 2021 people and the 2022 people?
Okay. So for people taking their exam in 2021, you have 9 months. 9 months is I wouldn't say it's a lot of time, but it's enough. Okay. So assuming you have not prepared your optional, I think for the first few days, you have to prepare your optional first. Okay. There's no escaping this thing. So the first step, even for 2022 or 2021, some of you might have done these things. Those who have not, you read polity, Lakshmikant, and second thing would be to read economics. You know, 11th and 12th NCRTs for economics. What this does is it gives you a basic idea of polity and economics. Why is this important? Because most of your newspapers, most of your current affairs have either political news, polity, or economical news related to economics. So it gives you a fair idea, a basic understanding, so that you can understand current affairs better in your journey. Once you have done this, go for your optional. Cover your optional. It might take 1 or 2 months. Cover, I think 75% of it, if possible. And give yourself a timetable. And after that, maybe go for GS4, then GS1, GS2, GS3, and last 2 months should be spared just for prelims preparation. This is a broad outline. To repeat it, start with the basics, Lakshmikant and polity, cover your optional, cover your GS4, then GS1, GS2, GS3. The sequence is important, and I suggest this sequence because of what I have experienced. Like I did a lot of permutation combinations. I did not have much guidance. I didn't know anyone back then, but then I started experimenting, and now I think that the strategy that I had adopted, it worked. So I think this is a better strategy. Why GS4 early on? Because there's something called as small achievement. Let's call it small achievement score. So subjects like GS4, they just take about 1 month to prepare. And once you have done that, you get that feeling of achievement, right? So that's why you should prepare such subjects first, so that you get that confidence that you have prepared it well. And then it helps you, it motivates you in doing the subjects, the other subjects well. If you take into consideration a daily timetable, how do you prepare for 2022 or 2021? What is important is you have to understand कि last week में क्या करना है. What I call it is reverse planning. You understand what you are supposed to read in the last week, in the last month, and then you plan it backwards. I have explained it many times. Say you are supposed to read history in half a day before the day of your exam. Then you should give maybe 3 days a week before. You should give 1 complete week, say 2 months before. You should give 15 to 20 days, 6 months before. So that way you come back. And that is how you realize कि आज क्या करना है. You come back from the exam day. Don't plan like everybody else. Forward planning is not helpful, because then you keep piling things. And the things that are important at the end, you are never able to finish it. And then it goes on to the next attempt. So plan it in a reverse way. You know what is to be done. आप extra कुछ भी फालतू का नहीं पढ़ते हो. Even if somebody suggests you something else, you will say कि यार यही नहीं हो पाएगा. मेरा plan एकदम set है. So now you don't get distracted. You are planning it properly in a reverse way and then going forward. So that is important. And when you are deciding on a daily schedule, I think from my experience, what I had realized is the biggest concern is how to divide the day, you know. Suppose एक दिन के अंदर आपको optional पढ़ना है, आपको current affairs पढ़ना है, you have also decided to read ethics, you have to revise it, you have to do MCQ practice, you have to do answer writing practice, ये सब करना है, and you have like 10 hours suppose for reading, so you divide it in 2 hours, you know, 2 hours, हर चीज को 2 घंटे मिलते हैं, तो 2 घंटों में अगर आप इथिक्स करोगे तो यू हार्डली गो अहेड 2 पेजेस 3 पेजेस, ऐसे आपको 1 महीना लग जाएगा पूरा इथिक्स खत्म करने में, राइट? सो उससे अच्छा है कि यू डिसाइड द प्रायोरिटीज, इथिक्स ही करना है तो उसको फुल एंड फाइनल खत्म कर दो, उसके साथ जो मोस्ट एसेंशियल है करंट अफेयर्स उसको थोड़ा सा टाइम दो, बाकी चीजें कैन वेट, यू कैन डू ऑप्शनल आफ्टर योर एथिक्स और बिफोर दैट। तो जब एथिक्स कर रहे हो गिव इट 10 hours and finish the entire ethics portion in like 7 days, so you get that feeling of, you know, that you have achieved something, kuch khatam ho gaya, and then you can go over to the other subjects. So for 2021 and 2022 you know your strengths and weaknesses, आपको पता है कि आपको किस में इंटरेस्ट है, किस चीज में आप वीक हो, एग्जाम की डेट से पीछे प्लान करो आज की डेट तक, and then you set a daily timetable. That is what I would like to suggest.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, at last, I ask you any concluding remarks or any guidance that you want to tell us, which is very much essential for a UPSC aspirant.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is, I told you कि we as medical students have certain advantages and disadvantages. Advantages I've told you, we have the advantage of, you know, studying, of not being afraid of big books, we can sit for long hours, we have that knack of thinking rationally, डायग्नोज करके सॉल्यूशन निकालना, डिफरेंशियल डायग्नोसिस के बारे में सोचना, मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस, मल्टीपल ट्रीटमेंट्स में से बेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट निकालना, this is all what we need in administration as well. There are problems, you have to diagnose them, differentiate it from the other problems, there are multiple solutions, compare the effects and side effects, and get on to a logical rational solution for that problem. So this is the kind of rational thinking that we have developed, we are trained to do it that way, so it helps us. So as a doctor we have that advantage. If you ask me ki as doctors, yeah, even if you say that you are an average student, will I be able to crack this exam? I would say if there is one profession which has a certainty of cracking this exam, if you do things properly, I think it's the medical profession. Nobody else is better suited, you know, as far as I understand the whole process. And if you ask me, you know, a lot of students ask me ki I have been an average student, I have not been brilliant in my studies, will I be able to crack it? So I would say, I've also answered this previously on other platforms, but I would say that being average is not a problem, you know. You don't need super smart, super intelligent people here. You know, this is not rocket science. There is an exam which a lot of people crack it. You should just have right guidance, right techniques. And being average, having average scores is never a problem. Nobody cares कि आपको 10th में 12th में कितने marks मिले थे. It doesn't matter right now. What matters is your competitors are not average, you know, they are really serious people and they are putting in a lot of efforts to crack this exam. So forget this mentality, you know, remove it from your mind that you have not done things, you may not have studied properly, you may not have had the guidance, तो आपको अच्छे marks नहीं मिले थे, आपको interest नहीं रहा होगा, तो आपने पढ़ाई नहीं की होगी. अभी आपका interest है, आपको पढ़ना है और आपको crack भी करना है. So now you'll give your best. So don't let your past affect your present studies. Okay, remove what the problem is average, these average thoughts in your mind, your average planning, your average guidance, your average, you know, strategies, average techniques. They are going to hold you back, not the fact that you have had average marks in the past. It doesn't matter. And in the end, I would say, like, I have my favorite quote while preparation was Some goals are so worthy, it is glorious even to fail. I had written it down, on my notebook, on my first page. This whole process is so enriching. Even if we fail in this, even if we don't succeed, this process will enrich us. We'll be much more aware about the society, about the needs, about various rights and duties, which is so much more important in today's India. Answer this question: why do you wish to be a civil servant? You ask a first year MBBS student who has just joined the college, why do you wish to be a doctor? You see his enthusiasm. Usko pura medical system change karna hai India ka. That is the enthusiasm we need. And you don't have to change. You have to enter the administration because you want to make an impact, no matter how small it is. So if you do it with that enthusiasm, you'll definitely succeed. In case you don't succeed, you should also realize that the whole point was to serve our country, our people. You could do that as a doctor. You could do that by joining an NGO. You could do that by doing things yourself, you alone. You can go out and help a few people out there, and you'll inspire a lot of people. So just have that faith in yourself. Where we are lacking is information, guidance, and self-confidence. Information is there on the internet, guidance के लिए हम लोग बैठे हुए हैं, और self-confidence, you yourself have to help yourself. One prescription I'd like to give you is read books of people who are real achievers. We are not officers and all, we are not achievers. The leaders, the politicians are not the leaders. The real leaders are those who created an impact, who have already contributed to the society. Read about Swami Vivekananda, read about Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, read about Netaji, read about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, read about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir. You have to read about these people. And if you need one prescription, it would be 2 pages of their autobiographies, OD or BD, once before sleeping. If you understand that language, I'm telling you in that language, that would be my prescription. At least OD to isko grahan kar lena. That would help you. That would keep your preparation in a healthy state. That would keep you motivated always.
Thank you, sir. This was an amazing session. It cleared most of our doubts regarding UPSC. Last but not least, we have Arpita. Arpita is first year student. She's from YMT Kharghar. She'll conclude our session.
Thank you.
On behalf of our entire Sewankur team, I would like to thank our honorable speaker, Dr. Suyash Chauhan sir, for his valuable time and precious guidance. A special thanks to the organizing team for their unflinching coordination, and thanks to the participants for being with us. If you want to stay connected with us, then you can register yourself at sewankur.org. Also, you can stay connected with us on various social handles, the link for which is provided in the chat box. Also, if you are an artist, poet, singer, then we have a great opportunity for you to showcase your talent at Sewankur Cafe. Recently, a poem competition Alphas is organized, and we are overwhelmed by the huge responses. So do follow Sewankur Cafe for upbringing the artist in you. With this warm message, we hereby end this session. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.